Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an empties, declutters, and pans video. It's been a couple of months since I've done one of these, so I have had a chance to empty some products. I've done a little bit of decluttering and I've also hit pan in a product, so I'm really excited to share my progress with you. I've got some hair care here, some nail care, some skincare, and also some makeup empties. I'm going to start with empties and then move to declutters and save the pan for the end. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna start with this because it actually doesn't really fit into any of the categories. I finished up the Beauty Blender Blender Cleanser. This is their solid cleanser in the unscented version. This I felt like was really easy. It didn't take a ton of effort to get my beauty blenders clean, but it is a little bit expensive for what it is. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would repurchase this right away. If you aren't too worried about the price point or you find a good sale on this, or if you find it at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, because I've seen it there occasionally. I really do think this is a nice, efficient, compact, fairly clean way of being able to get your beauty blender clean. Moving on to hair care products, I finished another one of the Aveda Scalp Benefits Balancing Shampoos. I've talked about this in previous empties videos, so I'm not going to belabor my discussion of this one, but I do have an oily scalp with drier ends, and so I find that a balancing shampoo can be really nice for that, and this one gets my hair really, really clean. I almost use this in place of like a clarifying shampoo sometimes because I feel like it just really, really cleans my scalp very well and very efficiently. And this is like my fourth bottle of this, and I have another one in my shower at the moment, so this is clearly a favorite in my hair care routine. I also finished the Eva NYC Lazy Jane Air Dry Conditioner. I also finished the shampoo of this, but I can't find the bottle anywhere, but I know I was gifted a set that came with the shampoo, the conditioner, and the styling spray. And so it's an entire line based around this idea that you can use these products, air dry your hair, and not have to use heat, but still get a really nice texturized, tousled effect with body and volume. It's sulfate, paraben, phthalate free, vegan and cruelty free, and the bottles are 100% recyclable. I do have a little bit of natural wave to my hair and I air dry my hair a lot, so I really like the idea of this, that there would be products that you can use to just help keep your hair from getting frizzy as it's air drying, but also give you a little bit of that natural volume and texture. So I liked the shampoo and conditioner. I felt like they were a little bit heavy. I've mentioned in the past that I have fine hair. I tend to look for products that cater to fine hair, that don't have too much in the way of moisture and hydration, just because I know my hair can get weighed down really, really easily. This does have shea butter in it and hemp seed oil. It's probably the shea butter that's making this feel like a heavier product. So if you have a coarser hair texture or your hair is really dry, I think you would like that about this, but for me it's just a tad too heavy, so I'm not sure I would run out and repurchase this, but I am still working on the styling spray. It's like a salt-free wave spray, and I've been enjoying that, so I don't really have too many bad things to say about this line. It worked for me. I enjoyed trying it. Not sure I would repurchase it right this second, but potentially in the future. It also smells really, really good. It smells like a really high-end perfume. It's got like patchouli and amber notes, kind of earthy, but still really clean smelling. Absolutely love the smell of this, and I will miss having that smell in my hair day to day. Next, I finished up a strengthening nail polish remover. This is just the Up and Up brand from Target. Not very exciting. I feel like most nail polish removers work about the same, but I figured I would throw it in here because it is an empty. And then I've got a bunch of skincare empties. So I'll start with the samples because I was kind of between moisturizers and ended up dipping into my samples drawer. I have a ton of skincare samples that I would like to make an effort to work through, so I was doing my best to get through a few of those. I used up 3 of the Dynasty Cream little packets from Beauty of Joseon. I love this stuff. It's very lightweight on the skin, and it doesn't feel heavy or greasy, and it doesn't sit on top of the skin, but it's really, really hydrating. So I feel like if you have really dry skin, which I do, You might really enjoy this, but you also might enjoy this if you have oilier or more combination skin. Honestly considering purchasing the full size of this because I really, really enjoy it every time I use it. My skin seems to love it. It seems to give me enough moisture, which tends to be my issue with most moisturizers. I used a sample of the Clé de Peau Beauty, the cream, I think it is. Yeah, La Creme. This one, I have no interest in purchasing. I'm sure it's incredibly expensive. This is the second sample size of a Clé de Peau skincare product that I've used. I tried their micellar water before. I'm just not impressed. I think, you know, you don't need to spend Clé de Peau prices to get the same effect of the products that they're trying to market. And this was highly, highly fragranced. So yeah, not one that I'm gonna run out and buy, but it was kind of fun to be able to try it because when else am I going to try a Clé de Peau skincare product if not in a sample size? And then I used a sample of the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream. This one I also really, really liked and I would consider buying in the full size. It's just a really basic, no-nonsense, hydrating cream. Like, it's exactly what it says. This did have a little bit of a light citrusy scent to it, but it wasn't enough to bother me. I see that it has citric acid in it. I wonder if that's what I'm smelling. But it didn't irritate my sensitive skin at all. I felt like my skin was really, really hydrated using this. There was only enough in the sample to use for about 3 full faces of product. So obviously when you're trying a skincare product, you probably need to leave it longer than that. But this is definitely one I would consider maybe trying another sample of or a trial size of, and maybe even purchasing the full size. Then I used up a travel sample size of the Confidence in a Cream Transforming Moisturizing Super Cream from IT Cosmetics. So I have used the Confidence in an Eye Cream from IT Cosmetics before and really, really enjoyed it. And I really liked this one too. Again, I feel like it had a super light fragrance. I can't exactly remember. Yeah, it's just like a really clean, almost like a laundry type smell. Nothing that was overwhelming or that irritated my skin. I like the amount of moisture that this cream has. I can't remember why I stopped using the Confidence in an Eye Cream. Maybe it was just the price point, honestly, because I feel like the IT Cosmetics skincare does get a little bit pricey. I think sometimes they have it in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, so if I saw it on a good discount, I might pick it up. But this was a pretty generous size sample and I felt like I really enjoyed it the whole time I was using it. So another one that is on my radar if I saw it at a price that I felt like was reasonable. I also tried the what is this called? Is it the Instant Angel Lipid Rich Moisturizer? So I've seen a ton of Instagram ads for this and I've seen several people talking about it, and the way that they talk about it is as though it's this really rich moisturizing cream. And I enjoyed using this, but I didn't feel like it was as hydrating as I thought it would be. It's definitely a lightweight, almost cloud-like texture, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but if I'm using this as a night cream, for example, and it sinks into my skin right away, I know I'm gonna wake up with potentially dry skin in the morning or tight skin in the morning. So I wanted a little bit more from this, but I think if you had skin that was even a little bit less dry than mine, you might really enjoy this. I even think if you have combination skin, you would enjoy this because it's not heavy, it's not greasy, it doesn't sit on the skin, it sinks right in. And it was really a joy to use. I like the packaging, I like the formula, and the weight of the cream itself is really unique. No fragrance that I remember, but I don't know, I felt like this one was kind of expensive for what it was, and it just wasn't memorable. It wasn't life-changing enough for me to warrant repurchasing it. But I'm glad that I tried it because I feel like it's been pretty hyped online, and now I know it's not for me, but that doesn't mean that it might not be for you, just depending on your skin type and what you feel like your hydration needs are. Speaking of hydration needs, I used up a lot of moisturizer. Here's another one that I used. This is the Lush Skin Drink. I was gifted this in exchange for review, and I really liked this. This was more of that kind of deep hydration that I was looking for in some of these other options. It's Lush, so of course it has quite an earthy smell, and I know that's not for everyone, but if you can kind of get past that, I thought that this was really nice. It had more hydration than something like the Dew Instant Angel, but a similar feel on the skin. So it wasn't greasy and it didn't sit on top of my skin, but I felt like I was getting moisture locked in. And this I definitely felt confident using as a night cream. It says it has sesame oil, cocoa butter, and fresh avocado in there. With those kinds of ingredients, I mean, you're definitely getting lots of moisture here, so probably not one for those of you with oily and combination skin. But if you do have dry skin, you might really enjoy this. The only thing with Lush is that they do expire quickly because they're kind of made fresh. This one says it was made on January 24th and the use by date is July 23rd. It does say self-preserving on the top, so I'm not entirely sure what that means. I know Lush does have some products that you have to keep in the fridge, so I think that must be what that's referring to, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would buy it again if I was at a Lush. I don't think I would go out of my way just to get this, but if I was already going to be visiting a Lush store, I would pick it up again. I thought it was nice and moisturizing without being heavy, didn't irritate my sensitive skin, all the good things. But if you don't like an earthy scent, steer clear. This is a very earthy one. I don't mind the smell, but I can imagine it would bother people who are sensitive to smell, so just something to note on that one. Nearing the end of the skincare empties here, I finished up 2 serums, the Pharmacy Filling Good, which is a hyaluronic acid plumping serum. This really helped my skin when I was having lots of dryness over the past few months, which have still been really cold where I live. And so I've been spritzing my face and putting this on and then immediately going in with a moisturizer to try and lock in as much moisture into my skin as possible. And I really enjoyed this. I will say I had a sample size of this in the past that I tried and it stung my skin. So I'm not sure if my skin changed or if the sample size had gone off or something. I was a little nervous about trying this again. This was gifted to me from pharmacy a really long time ago, and it had just been sitting in my skincare stash. So I was a little bit nervous when I pulled this back out because I remembered that the sample had stung me. But I didn't have that issue this time. I didn't have any issues really. I felt like it really helped my skin hold on to hydration and moisture. So yeah, I don't know. Is there a huge difference between this and other hyaluronic acid serums that I've tried? I'm not sure. Maybe if pharmacy had a really good sale, I would pick this up again, but I don't know. If you're placing an order with pharmacy or if they have a discount and you need a hyaluronic acid serum, I don't think you would be disappointed with this one, but I'm not sure that I would tell you it's drastically different from all other hyaluronic acid serums enough to make you shell out the price point for a pharmacy product. But I did enjoy it and I used it up and it helped my skin. So. And finally, for skincare empties, I finished up the Madagascar Centella Ampule from Skin 1004. This was also gifted to me a really long time ago, and this is a pretty huge bottle. So it took me a while to get through this, but my skin really liked this. It's not a hydrating serum by any means. It feels pretty much exactly like water. But I think the claims on this are that it just sort of calms your skin, calms any redness and sort of balances things out a little bit. I don't know how well I can speak to that, but I can say that whenever I use this, I felt like my skin just looked better the next day. Just clearer, bouncier, fresher, not as dull or as lackluster. So maybe it was doing something along those lines and I just could never really pinpoint exactly what I liked about it, but I really do think I saw a difference using this, and I have another one in my skincare stash already. It's a smaller size, but I am looking forward to putting this back in my routine again because I just feel like my skin responded really well to it. I don't know how helpful of a review that is, but that's all I can say. All right, and finally it's time for some makeup empties. So I have two mascaras that have been hanging around too long. You all know I'm pretty militant with my 3-month mascara rule because I typically wear contacts day to day, and I have had my fair share of eye infections enough to scare me away from keeping my mascaras open for longer than the 3, sometimes 4-month mark. Both of these I've had in my rotation for longer than that, and I just now realized it, so I am going to go ahead and throw these out. This is the Bite Beauty Upswing. They no longer make this anymore, which is a shame because it's a really nice mascara, and this was the last one that I had in my backup stash. So RIP to the Bite Beauty Upswing. And then this one was the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Waterproof. So I've mentioned in the past, I do have some issues with mascara smudging up on my brow bone and sometimes on my kind of under eye area. And so I wanted to try a waterproof mascara to see if that would help with the smudging issue. And this did smudge on me a little bit, which is so surprising because I feel like a waterproof mascara should not move. You know what I mean? So I've since switched to tubing mascaras, and I think those just work a little bit better for me in terms of my specific needs and trying to avoid smudging as much as possible. But if you don't have the smudging issue and you are looking for a waterproof mascara and you like a lot of volume and kind of drama to your lashes, I think you would really like this. The regular L'Oreal Lash Paradise is also a really nice mascara for making your lashes look really big and thick and just volumized. So I don't think it's a mascara issue. I think it's a me issue, but just something to be aware of if your mascara smudges easily. This one did smudge on me even in the waterproof version, but I did use it as long as I could, and it's time to move it out. I finished up a pretty old setting spray. This is from the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin collab, which was several summers ago at this point. I don't even know how many, but this is the Mist Me mist that came out in that collection. I think this is pretty much the exact same thing as the e.l.f. Coconut setting mist. I can't remember what that one's called. I pretty much use this exclusively for dampening my eyeshadows when applying them to try and avoid fallout, and not really as a facial mist because I just never really felt like it did anything as a facial mist. So I'm happy to have this used up. It was fine for what I was using it for, to wet my eyeshadows, but not one that's like a staple in my collection necessarily. So saying goodbye to this one after several years of having it in my life. And then the last 3 makeup empties are all Project 10 Pan products. So I finished up the Kosas Brow Pop, the Kosas Air Brow, and the Becca Backlit Priming Filter. I mentioned in my last Project 10 Pan video, I really love this primer. Unfortunately though, you can no longer get this. I don't think it's a part of the Smashbox and Becca rebrand, which is a shame because it's a really nice, pretty glowy primer, but I used this on no makeup days to make my skin look really juicy and pretty and dewy, and I also used this under makeup and really enjoyed it. But it lasted a really long time in my collection, so happy to have this one finished up and moved out. And then if you've been watching my Project 10 Pan videos, you might know my thoughts on the Kosas Brow products. They are fine. I know a lot of people really like them and enjoy them, so maybe it's just a preference thing. I felt like the brow pencil was good. It was a good match for my eyebrows. I had the shade medium brown for reference. So that's good. Sometimes it can be hard to find a nice, chocolatey brown brow pencil that doesn't lead too warm. But I just don't know if I would pay this price point again. I think there are just so many good drugstore eyebrow pencils that are a lot cheaper than this, so it's not one that I would feel like I absolutely had to spend the money on, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people really like the Kosas Air Brow as well. It just wasn't perfect for my particular brows. I have really long brows that can be a little bit unruly, and it didn't have enough hold for me. And towards the end there, I started noticing some of those like flakes in my brows a little bit. but I know some people like it, so again, it's just down to your preference, but I like something with a little bit more hold to it, even if that means my brows are crunchy. If you hate the crunchy feel though, this one was not crunchy whatsoever. So if you're looking for a brow product that doesn't have that same kind of high intensity hold, you might like this one. Okay, so we have finally reached the end of the empties. I'm now gonna move to the declutters, and I have 3, one of which I think is just an expired product. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. I went to grab for this in my drawer because I knew I hadn't used it in a while. I've had this for several years at this point, and it just smells straight up like paint that goes on the walls kind of paint. So I didn't feel great about putting that around my eye area or on my skin, and unfortunately I think it's just expired before I've had a chance to use it up, which is why I am doing the project panning projects that I'm doing, because I hate having to declutter stuff before I've gotten the use out of it, but I am too scared to put this on my face. So this one will unfortunately be going in the trash. And then I am slowly but surely making my way through my entire nail polish collection and trying to use each nail polish to weed out the ones that are no longer performing. I've had most of my nail polishes for over a decade at least, if not going on 15 years. So there are definitely a few in there that are well past their prime. These are 2 of them. They're both from Essie. This is the shade Pansy, and this is the shade Bikini Sotini. It's really a shame because I love both of these shades so much, but they're just really, really clumpy and like simultaneously clumpy and streaky to where I can't get a good even coat on either of them. I think it was Pansy actually that took forever to dry because it was just so thick. It had been several hours since I had painted my nails with this, and I found that I was still smudging it, and so these are both going to go. Let me know if you all are interested in more nail polish content. I know I watch a lot of like project polish type videos because I like seeing other people work through their nail polish collections, but as I'm working through each of my nail polishes, the ones that I'm keeping, I'm trying to enter into my makeup inventory spreadsheet so that I have a good sense of what I have. My nail polish collection is really, really big, and as I mentioned, lots of them are really, really old and need to go, so I am going to be continuing to work on that over the next few months. And that is everything that I am decluttering this month, which means it's time to share my pan with you. So, surprise, surprise, I hit pan in another lid setting shade. This one comes from my BH Low Key Love You palette, and the shade is called DTR. I'll try to get a close-up for you so that hopefully you can see that pan. So hopefully you can see that I hit pan and then I used it again just to make the pan a little bit more visible so that hopefully you all could see it. I was surprised how long it took me to hit pan in these. This is the first BH Cosmetics shadow that I've hit a pan in, and the pans are actually pretty deep, which for the price point is pretty cool. I love BH Cosmetics eyeshadows so much. The quality is amazing, and I have several of their palettes. So I'm happy to have hit a pan in one of their palettes and another setting shade. As you all know, I sort of just rotate through all my palettes and work on a setting shade until I hit pan, and then I pick another palette that has a setting shade and do the same thing. But I find they are some of the easiest shadows to hit pan on, and it keeps me motivated to continue to use all my palettes. So I think that's everything that I had to update you on in this video. My next declutters, empties, and pans, Lord willing, will be in the next month and not in the next 2 months like this one was. But hopefully you enjoyed seeing some of the products that I used up, some of the products I'm getting rid of, and the pan that I hit over the past couple of months. Thank you so much for watching today. If you would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. Give the video a like if you liked it, and my next video should be up in the next couple of days. So until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye!